All right, so make the case for this brand of enforcement at the border. Why does it have to be done this way?
You know what? You talk about emotions. I have a few emotions too. This is a tough problem that we're facing right now. But by the way, I understand separating the kids from their families. What about the thousands and thousands of people I locked up in my 58-year law enforcement, taking the parents out of the houses for drugs or whatever, leaving the kids separated?
Those were serious crimes, not a misdemeanor of crossing the border undocumented.
Well, okay, you want to argue the type of crime and so on, that's okay. But you know what? Everybody forgets the big problem here. Central America, Mexico, they have tough laws. Why aren't they stopping these kids and their parents or whatever crossing our border? They should be doing it in their country so we won't have this problem. Nobody talks about that. They better start talking about it.
Well, because it doesn't relieve,
quit blaming us.
It doesn't relieve our responsibility, Joe. That's why. Let's say they are lax in their enforcement. Let's say their governments aren't getting it done. Let's say they are even encouraging people to get out of that country for good or bad reason. That's not in the control of the United States, whereas how it enforces its border is. And it is choosing now to take a new direction of harshness, of prosecuting everyone who comes across, but how they'll prosecute includes separating these families, even if it means that these kids are going to be separated for a good period of time in conditions that we're not crazy about. Does that sound like the right thing to do?
Well, I'll tell you something. Why don't we blame the families, the adults, for taking a chance, violating the law, coming across our border with these young kids? They're the ones that should be held responsible. And if I get to Washington, I'm going to make sure there's another law, a tougher law, to go after these people.
How much tougher can you get than this? How much tougher could you get than this?
Well, if you charge them with more serious crimes, they'll spend more time in jail, which should be a deterrent. First of all, it should be a deterrent anyway. Our president has sent that message out. I hope because of you and everybody else talking about it, Chris, they're going to get a message. Don't come across this border with your kids. Because first of all, you're going to jail, the adults or those that violate the law. Now, for the kids, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them.
You feel sorry for them, but you're putting them in the bad way. If you felt sorry for them, don't separate them. And why would you assume all families that come across undocumented are the same? Some are fleeing persecution. Some women are running for their lives from terrible men. Some are teenagers looking for a better life, desperate to work at the factories that you guys never prosecute for hiring people illegally. You never go after the fat cats, only the small people. You demonize the workers.
Okay.
No, okay. If you look at prosecutions, the people are getting prosecuted harsher than ever. Not the companies, Joe. Not fair.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Look at my record. The trouble I got in for just doing that.
Well, you got in trouble for how you were rounding people up and what you were doing with your resources.
Okay, that's uncertain, one judge. But I'm going to tell you something. I just wrote a 25-page letter to the Attorney General of the United States. I expect him to look into certain bias and the illegal immigration problem and the corruption and the politics. So we'll see what the bottom line is.
Do you include the huge factories and businesses that hire these people at subpar wages and don't have to worry about work conditions the same way because they're not citizens? You include that in your letter?
About raiding places that hire illegals?
Yeah, not to round up the illegals and send them away, but to arrest the people that run the shop,
Of course.
Joe.
Of course.
Is that in your letter?
Well, it's bigger than that. My letter has to do with the politics and this illegal immigration problem and the bias.
Look, all I'm saying is this, Joe. It's why are we being the harshest on the weakest? You know, a lot of these people are trying to get asylum. They're fleeing persecution. They're looking for a better life. And they're getting treated like they're all felons when they come across. That's a policy decision. The law doesn't make you have to do it this way. But we're not that harsh with the people who hire them. What does that say about us?
Well, first of all, it's illegal to cross the border. You know that.
So it's illegal to hire someone who's not a citizen under these circumstances. You know that, too.
Yeah. Okay.
But we don't go after them with the ferocity that we're going after these people like they're all MS-13. They're all coming in here to sell us drugs and slit our throats. We don't talk like
Well,
that about the employers.
Well, maybe if you want to be helpful, we should put more emphasis in these countries and help them stop the crime problem so people won't be leaving, wanting to come into the United States. This is a bigger picture. You know that, Chris.
I
You gotta
do
look
get
at
it,
the
Joe,
big
but I'm
picture,
saying,
not
why
just,
are you dealing with the weakest in the harshest fashion? If you want to do your tariffs and all the things that the president loves so much, if you want to apply them to countries that you think are bad actors when it comes to how they treat people who try to immigrate to this country, fine, that's a policy decision. Have it out. Let's see how that goes politically. If you want to go after the employers, because if there's no demand, there's no supply. Simple economics, right? But they know they're going to get jobs. They know they're going to come in here and get swept up and fuel lots of industries that are fundamental to American lifestyle. But we never go after those people. Kind of
Well, then
stinks, Joe.
do it legally. Get certain permits or whatever to have these people come in. I've been fighting this battle all these years. I've always said every time there's an election, why doesn't Congress do something? I even predicted, even this time, even though the president's trying to do everything he can, once again, we're still arguing this situation. Why doesn't Congress do something instead of having no guts to every 2 years or whatever? Why aren't they doing anything? All they do is talk. You're talking tonight, and the same problem has been existing for all
Well,
these
look,
years.
that's my job, is to bring it up, test power, and push them to act on common ground. You want to join the Senate. If you win, let's see what you get done about it. But Joe Arpaio, I appreciate you coming on to make the case. Thank you.
Thank you.